Well, I was just about to start bragging that while I am technically walking on the road, it should be more quiet than the last time, so shout out to my dad. Hopefully you wouldn't have to worry about the sound of big trucks going by, but a huge truck just went by. It is, hold on, 12:52 p.m., another big truck. This one's for you, Pop. 12:52 p.m., Thursday, the 26th of March, 2026, and I am finally making my first steps out of Damascus. And that's right. I decided not to take a zero. There's multiple factors. Did I mention I'm going by Helene damage on the Creeper Trail? I think maybe not the second part. But yeah, Creeper Trail damage and walking out of town. So I bought a new backpack. The other night when I was sleeping in the woods, something came over me and I was like, my backpack really hurts my back. Like, not in the ways that you might think. Like, it rubs my shoulders really badly. Like, sorry, Dad. Where the shoulder straps meet my collarbones, and occasionally it also feels a little tight on my hips. And so, wow. I certainly would have spoken too soon about the trucks. Do we got another one? You know it. 18 wheels of Bliss, baby. K&D, y'all. Peerless. But yeah, so I started thinking about this specific backpack, the one that I ended up getting, which is a Hyperlite pack. Very expensive. It was over $400 after all was said and done. But something about everything I knew about this pack, which is a good deal, there are popular items on trail, like for footwear, for tents, for backpacks, all that kind of stuff. And, word spreads about like features and things that you think suck about it, all that kind of stuff, up and down the grapevine, And so I knew about this pack, and I was like, the minimalism of that pack seems like it might help to address the issues that I have with my Osprey pack. And the Osprey pack, honestly, it is a great pack. I think that, mine was 4 years old, and, for what it was, it kind of reminded me of when I used to have a van that I lived out of. Like, the Osprey pack kind of represented how that van felt to me. It was big, it was bulky, it didn't have any kind of sexiness to it. It was just a pure vehicle of utility, And this pack is a little bit more like a Porsche, certainly when it comes to the sticker price. It's about twice the price of the pack that I had, and it's also about half the weight, but it has all these great features, like huge, awesome pockets that are really, really stretchy, because that's one thing that I could complain about the Osprey, which is just that their pockets, they didn't have very much stretch to them, so it was hard to kind of pack them, especially when the pack itself was pretty full and already pushing against the pockets and all. So, in any case, I think I have what's called the Hyperlite Unbound 55, and so I also got 5 more liters in my pack capacity. The Osprey I had was a 50-liter pack, which I did find to be problematic from time to time for big resupplies and long water carries, But yeah, like wearing this new pack right now, like it feels so much better, just like immeasurably better. It's still pretty early into my day. So, I guess what I can say is that it doesn't aggravate any of the same areas that the Osprey pack did yet, anyway. So, yeah, I was really excited about using this pack because I was like, dang, you know, one of the other reasons I thought it'd be nice to have a zero would just be to let my body heal for a day before having to put this freaking pack back on, my dude. Yeah, this one, I'm liking it a lot so far. You know, typically I'm a Johnny come lately to like things that are good. Just because I'm like, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But when I do finally give in, after, you know, a couple of years of egotistic denial, I'm like, okay, I get it. I see what you guys are talking about. I had to let my original pack kind of run its course, you know. Oh my God. Here's 3 trucks for you, Dad. Nice. But yeah. So I bought a new pack and I was excited to use it. And then tomorrow there's supposed to be like the possibility of a small amount of rain. From what I was seeing, like no more than 0.2 of an inch predicted. Who knows what'll actually happen, but to me, again, I see that and I'm like, that sounds like a relatively dry day. And, you know, for me to take a zero on a day, which is today, that is actually a relatively nice day for walking, and then to leave the day after into what could be like a more miserable, wet kind of day, it's just like, nah, I'll bank that zero and use it somewhere else, you know. And so, yeah, the weather was another consideration. And then finally, I kind of felt like the little stroll that I did through Damascus yesterday satisfied all of the desires that I had to explore while I was in town, you know. I went to the grocery store, I went to a couple of outfitters to get the pack, I went to the Appalachian Trail Conservancy Center that they have there. You know, I had the full Damascus experience. I hit all the points that I would have wanted to do today. And then I probably just would have been kind of sitting around, not doing much, because all the cool people who I met at the hostel, most of them are leaving today as well. So we got at least 3 things there leaning against taking a zero prematurely, so to speak. And yeah, that kind of brings me to where I am now. So let's go back in time a little bit, since I didn't make a clip last night because I was hanging out with my folks, y'all. So the walk into Damascus was relatively uneventful. I'm passing the Appalachian Trail right now. Boy, haven't seen something that unappetizing in a while. Should try to get a picture. Oof, it just goes straight up, y'all. Like, what would you expect, you know? Let's get real quick. Oops. Let's get out of the road, though. Where's the thing? There we go. Nope. All right. We are officially bidding adieu to the Appalachian Trail. I do love you, though. I really do, though. I promise. This is not a slight. I just think that the Appalachian Trail corridor extends a little bit beyond its bounds, my dude. So yeah, anyway, walking into Damascus, yeah, I mean, it was a nice walk, you know. It was like, there was a big like stream that I was following. Are we gonna have to deal with wind now? Seems like it. Let me take this hat off. Okay. There was a nice stream that I was following. It was relatively all downhill. It did get hot at a certain point, around 2:30, where kind of made a mental note. I was like, hey, dude, like, you know, around 1 p.m. or so, if you start to feel like your legs are baking, go ahead and put your leggings on. Like, take a small little break, have a sip of water, and put your leggings on. So that's like a new rule of thumb. I don't feel like it's gonna stick because like I really don't like putting my leggings on. I feel like a kid, you know, like someone telling me to put my shoes on and tie them or something like that. But it breaks my momentum, and in the moment it just doesn't feel important enough to justify that, but it is. So that's about as much of a highlight as I remember from yesterday. Got into town. It was about 17 miles, went straight to the Broken Fiddle and saw my dude Treehouse. Shout out to Treehouse, the, in my opinion, best hostel operator on the entire trail. Like, just really like this guy. He's super cool, relatable, professional, funny, smart. He's written a book somewhat recently, which I read a couple of years ago, that was his tale of circumnavigating Florida on a canoe, or a kayak, I guess. I don't know much about water sports. I don't know from water sports. I want to start using that phrase where they're like, I don't know from X, just to mean that you don't know anything about it. Yeah, that was great. And then I went and did the needful, went to the outfitter, went to the grocery store, and Treehouse had informed me, it's a logging road, you know, they're taking out, if I can give it some context so the interruptions are at least maybe interesting, it's a lot of logging trucks taking out trees from Helene, honestly. Maybe this was already a logging area to begin with, but for sure, like, Bob Peoples and others have told me that, like, a big thing that they're doing post Helene in these general areas is like logging all of the fallen trees, you know, like, don't let them go to waste kind of a thing, which is good, because if Bill Bryson is to be believed, the National Forestry, what do they call them, agency, I guess, apparently what they do is really manage the cutting of the forests, you know. They make deals with people who can and who can't go into certain places and do what. I mean, you know, what's his name? Bill Bryson has a very, you know, specific perspective, and he's trying to arouse emotions in the reader. I guess that's like one of the things he's actually good at. He, like, gives you counterintuitive information that makes you scratch your head and also get upset, you know. But yeah, so the trucks are gone now. So yesterday, Treehouse mentioned that Balsack herself, shout out to Balsack, was actually staying at the hostel as well. So I successfully, without any actual purposeful plan, was able to catch up with her and meet her, along with some other cool people. Shout out to Spoons, Luna, and I think his name was Lightning. I'm pretty sure about that. But yeah, I'm getting to an intersection now where I need to make sure I'm going the right way. I'm headed for Conorack, Virginia, and I think today's going to be a relatively low mileage day, around 20-ish. I've already done a pretty good deal of walking that I didn't even record because I didn't realize I was going to walk that much. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Conorack is I have to take the left fork, although I hope the road is open. I guess that's actually the thing I'm nervous about, is that the road is closed down that way. I don't remember if it is, and I don't know what I will do if it is. I'll probably just do it anyway. You know, a closed road is a matter of degree when you're on foot. It's like, dude, I can, like, literally just, like, walk around this thing, and it's not an impediment. Like, it's kind of hard to imagine, like, you know, most natural features on foot are not impossible to get around. I mean, it's kind of amazing, if I think about it, just how much more dexterity you have when you're not in a car. You know, you're going slower, but obstacles are kind of whatever, you know. The sign here says end road work, so it looks like we're good. Looks like I don't need to worry about the road being closed. Although there is another sign. It says access point. Let's see what that says. A little bit more close up, shall we? Let's see. Conorack is 11 miles ahead of me, which is just about the midway for the day. There's also a store there that may or may not be open, so that's cool. And hopefully it'll be a little bit more quiet over here. Oh, I guess I have access maybe to the Creeper Trail too. That'd be kind of cool. That would be quiet. I don't know if the Creeper Trail goes to Conorack though. What's up, my dudes? How's it going? Yeah, that's not worth it. And I think that the Creeper Trail is pretty well destroyed almost everywhere, but I don't know. We're still parallel with the water. I guess if this goes up, which it most likely does, we'll get to a point where the Creeper Trail is more intact. But yeah, it's been a sad sight to see just how much devastation remains from Helene. You know, it's crazy. Some of the pictures I saw in town of people, like aerial views of Damascus completely underwater, like probably several feet. It's just wild, you know. And then all of it just recedes, you know. That's kind of an interesting feature of the whole thing as well. Just that, like, you know, the water, gravity pulls the water back to the lowest point after the flood is over. Oh, I ate a huge breakfast this morning. So, yeah, shout out to all my people. Made a huge bowl of pasta, which gastrically was a bit of a mistake. I mean, not really. It was really good, very tasty, very filling. But I guess I did have to kind of pay the piper later, to put it mildly. But yeah, hung out all night talking with people such as Balsac and her happy horde of hikers. Yeah, just good time spending time, you know, like nice to share space with people, nice to eat with people, nice to drink with people, just nice to generally be with people on the trail, you know. It's, I don't mind skipping the trail part, but definitely the little hubs of the community. I absolutely love spending time there. Not so much that I'll take an unnecessary zero, but darn close, my dude. Darn close indeed. Oh, these trucks. Sorry, Dad. Yeah, the night kind of culminated early for me. Everyone was about to watch Monty Python, and I was just like, like, I don't want to do that. I don't like watching movies very much, you know. Like, not to say that I never do, but in general, if I'm honest, and again, no judgment to those who find this a foreign concept, but the idea of like sitting for a couple of hours when I'm in this kind of a mode where movement is like such a big part of my life, like the idea of sitting down and watching a movie is a little anxiety inducing for me. And it was also like 8:30, and I was just like, nah, like I don't want to be up until like 11:30. So went to bed, fell asleep pretty quickly, and then woke up at about 3. And I think that was the moment where I really realized that I was not going to be staying and that I wanted to head out today. So I kind of made a little bit of logistical plans to support that, and then went back to sleep until about 6:22. And I hadn't done laundry or taken a shower the night before because I just thought I would do that today since I'd have some extra time. And so I got up really early, earlier even than I get up on trail. But this was part of the logistics that I had made with myself. I was like, well, if I'm going to go back out tomorrow, I want to make sure that I utilize all of the utilities that I have access to right now so that I really get a full kind of like physical reset, even if the sleep wasn't as good as I was hoping for. So got up at 6:22, took a shower, did laundry, had some coffee, talked to a dude. I forget what his trail name was. Scott Free. Shout out to Scott Free. His name was Scott. He had retired, so he was now free. He was Scott Free. And yeah, you know, again, spending time with my folks, getting to watch the sunrise with Scott. It was romantic, you know? And then people started getting up, and I got to have a more extensive conversation with Balsac. Because, you know, again, I'm interested, because I do consider myself someone who could do a challenge like that physically, you know? So it's like, it is interesting just to sit down with someone who has decided to do it, you know? And do indeed. And just kind of pick their brain, kind of observe their psychology and kind of hear where they're coming from, you know? In the same way as like the hoarder, where it's like, walk me through this until we get to the part where this is actually attractive to you, you know? Oh man, more trucks. Will they ever end? I don't know. I really don't know. Man, so loud. So yeah, hung out this morning with the same kind of crew, got to know them a little better, and then also went to the Damascus diner with them, which was really cool. I don't think I've ever had breakfast there before, but it was very, very good. And I'd kind of, another part of my deal with myself was like, okay, like I was going to go to the diner anyway, just because I was like, I'd like to experience that. Yeah, I decided that I would especially allow myself that perk if I wasn't staying, because that would mean that I'd be saving the money from not staying another night, you know. And it's not really a budgetary thing, but when there is a budgetary implication with the plans and a way to justify it so that I can have my cake and eat it too, I'm happy to pull from those examples as well. God, this pack feels so good. Like, it's so hard. Like, I can tell that it's like, it still hurts, right? Like, the strain on my shoulders is real, but it doesn't, they call this, it's basically a frameless pack. And, you know, the Osprey has like a pretty rigid, like, it has like a really rigid, I think it's aluminum, although it could be steel. But one of the two, it's got like this frame on the inside of it. It's called an internal frame pack. And that frame was just like, I don't know, it was like high pressure point. Like, you know, I called them Osprey love marks many years ago, but it was almost, it looked like someone had like given me hickeys, like on very specific parts of my body that you'd never want to give a person hickeys on. But it was just like an inflamed lump, you know. Sounds like a gross punk name, punk band name. But yeah. Uh-oh, we got a killer dog. Not really. What else? It's like a weird looking French bulldog if it was like a real dog. Who knows? But yeah, so I went to breakfast with my folks. Again, shout out to them. Another truck, Luna, Lightning, Spoons, and Ballsack. 3 trucks. Wow. You know, typically, I've mentioned before, like, I like texture in my audio clips, and I do consider road noise to be texture, because it's like literally what's happening around me, and I think that that's part of what you could actually define as texture. But now that my dad mentioned that it was like hard to listen to me and annoying, I'm like more sensitive to it. So thanks for ruining it for me, Dad. Here comes another one. And they're also making a lot of dust. which, you know, I love the dust. But yeah, it was really fun. I enjoyed hanging out with everybody at the diner, and Ballsack informed me that the whole group that was there, they were all kind of going their separate ways as of today. Ballsack is actually flying to New Mexico to begin a northbound hike of the Continental Divide Trail. I can't remember what the exact reason was, but yeah, that's what she's chosen to do. And then Lightning and Spoons were staying together, but they were doing something specific. Spoons is a kid, he's 16 years old, it's crazy. So he has to hike in order to be done in June, so that he can go back to school, which is like insane. Like, again, hats off. I know that I would be a much better person than I am if I had hiked the Appalachian Trail when I was 16. That's crazy. The resilience that would instill in a young person is just immeasurable. And he's loving it too, so I mean, I think he's definitely getting his money worth, you know. We got more signs. I don't have another option, and I don't want to backtrack, so I'm just continuing to hope that this road is open. I came down here about a year ago, and I feel like, what, did I bike down here or something? I don't even remember. But I have a vague memory of like talking to somebody, and he was like, yeah, you can go through, but like, I don't know, some parts are messed up or something like that. I don't even know. But there's another sign that says something, and another truck coming up quickly from behind. It says, I think it says, be prepared to stop. And then there's some impossibly small font from this distance, which already, be prepared to stop means keep on going, Kenneth. That's what that means to me. What does it say in the fine print? The fine print's where they get you. Be prepared to stop. What does it say? High. I wonder if I knew how many feet this was, if it would mean anything about like, if I have like 20/20 vision or whatever. Trucks stopping and entering the road. Okay. I like that. I mean, I don't like the truck part, but again, you know, I'm glad that this road is at least traversable. I don't care about trespassing, but I don't like encountering people when I am. Which, you know, that, no duh, might as well say that I don't like to like things that I don't like. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, hanging out at the diner, everyone doing their thing, and then went back to the hostel. I made kind of a critical error because like I should have gone to the grocery store from the diner because I was already like halfway there. But I don't know. I didn't know if I hadn't made any logistics yet, so I didn't know if my route was actually going to take me by the grocery store on my way out. Which, if I had used logic, I probably could have thought about why that wouldn't be the case, but it was. So, anyway, yeah, I am leaving my old pack at the Broken Fiddle Hostel, and my thought, because I didn't really want to ship it back to my parents' house, shout out to my parents, because of a couple of different things. One, it seems like a waste of money. And an unfortunate one, because it's like, well, I created this situation myself. I bought a new backpack, and I'm not going to carry two. Although a younger version of myself, I wouldn't put it past me. What else? Oh, yeah, so my thought is that I still plan to go back to the Broken Fiddle for trail days, and so I'm going to take my pack when I get there to the Osprey tent. Like, they always show up and help through hikers with their packs and stuff like that. And so I'm gonna hope that they say that the pack is so messed up that they're gonna just like give me a new one, and then hopefully I can tell them where to ship it, and then I'll just have a new pack sent to my parents' house, and that would be cool. I want to at least explore that option. I don't know if that will be the way that things turn out, but it's fine, and I just thought that was a good idea. So Treehouse let me do it. I got a box from the outfitter that I bought this new pack at and stowed it away. And 6 weeks from now, I should be back in Damascus, and what's today? 26th. Yeah, and then we'll see what comes of that idea, that plan. What was I going to say about all that? I guess that's it. So, yeah, I just did some logistics. Figured out that I'd do this Conorack walk. It'd take me close to Troutdale, Virginia. There's like a little general store, kind of a country store thing over there. So I can walk through there tomorrow morning, and then I can head up towards either Marion or Atkins, Virginia, depending on what I feel. If I go toward Marion, there's a lot of really good resupply options, but it would be like a 30-mile day to do that, because then I'd have to walk back to the trail from there. Or I can go straight to Atkins, which will get me on trail quicker. So we'll see. Today is going to be, I think I probably already mentioned, but about 20 miles of walking, and walking by some pretty big construction equipment right now. It looks like they are currently building a bridge that the Creeper Trail uses, and I'm sure whatever used to be there got completely demolished. I can only imagine. This is like it is certainly going up, but the stream is still just like right there, and if it swole as much as I'm sure it did, I can only imagine how in the fashion of cards, what do they call it? A house of cards. It probably was destroyed like a house of cards. So anyway, did my logistics and went back and got on the road at like 11:30, but I had to walk 1.1 miles to the grocery store, and then I had to walk 1.1 miles back to the hostel, and then finally, when I started making this clip, I was like officially like a couple hundred feet beyond the hostel, and so I had officially started my day. And yeah, that's kind of where things are sitting. I don't remember the name of the parking area that I'm shooting for, but there's a campsite very, very close to it, and it has water as well. So I think I'll probably finish the day probably 6 hours from now. So maybe about 6:30, a little early, if I do dare say so. And yeah, it's a nice day for walking, you know. I think I was probably also at the edge of my social ability. Like I just kind of already felt like I was ready to be on the road again. And now that I am, I'm glad that I chose that, because, you know, I don't like that feeling of puttering around, you know, like basically waiting until I can start drinking beer, you know, like waiting until 5 p.m. Get a little bit of that liquid reset and become social again, you know. Yeah, I'm not sure where I'll take my next zero, but Woods Hole, the hostel that Bob Peoples told me about, wouldn't be the worst place to think about doing that. I could even hike down to Parisburg, because I don't think they sell beer or anything like that, and that could be a part of my day. I could go retrieve some drinks that I have with myself and not make anyone upset. You know what I'm saying? I think that you do. So yeah, I think there's only one thing on my list, which is a phrase that says, "When the fiction collapsed." And I do remember why I wrote that, so that's good. Why are you struggling? Let's see. So yesterday on the road walk, I noticed that there was this pair of dogs, and the dogs were harassing a horse and a couple of cows inside of a pasture. And it was crazy because like the dogs would chase the cows and the horse, and then the horse and the cow would turn around at a certain point and start chasing the dogs. And I was like, man, those dogs are terrorizing those horses and cows and stuff, you know? And I was just thinking, like, there is like this moment when a fiction collapses into reality. And I was thinking about if those dogs, which were probably from a pretty safe distance, just like, you know, running at the horses and cows, like if the dogs actually tried to bite the horses and the cows, the fiction of play would collapse and it would become like a real existential moment, you know? And, you know, if they wanted to, I know a horse can easily kill a dog if they can catch it. And I'm sure a cow can too, especially this cow had a little calf that it was ostensibly protecting. But I just thought that was interesting that like up into a certain moment, like something can occur, but then something transgresses the fiction into a new reality. Kind of, again, going back a little bit to that idea that guy said where now is the before of the next after, I think is what he said, right? Is that right? Now is the before of the next after. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because now is what is occurring in this moment, which is before the next after. And the next after was just what just happened or something like that. Anyway, yeah, that was my night and my morning. It was good. I think no one else yet had left for the day. There were a couple of other people taking zeros, but it sounded like some of that was like kind of fear-mongering just a little bit, maybe. I don't know. There was some talk about whether the weather was about to be, you know, a quantity. And I don't know. Some people, I heard them talking about snow and cold. And I was like, really? Again? We just had that. I mean, it could happen. I don't know. I haven't looked very closely. From what I saw, everything looked pretty fair dinkum to me. You know, just like, yeah, it's like dipping into the 30s, highs in the 50s to 70s. Like, that sounds fine. Like this time of year, like, first of all, 30s isn't really actually that cold as long as you have the right gear. And so that to me just sounds like a really cozy night. And yet again, I feel like, you know, I do love the Broken Fiddle, like with all my heart, but I didn't sleep well there. I sleep so much better in the woods. Not to say that like if I didn't get a private room, maybe I would have slept better. I don't even know. But for sure, my experience, I was just like, well, like, you know, I'm gonna be a little tired tomorrow, but that's fine. That's the way it goes. And that just means I'll sleep even better this evening. And I'll look forward to getting back to you then so we can talk about what happens between now and the next after. Love you, bye.